Welcome to Our Scars Speak. My name is Christina Miner. I'm the host of this podcast. And before we begin, I'd like to give a disclaimer that we are not here to advise you in anything concerning your treatment plan. We're merely here to give you some information and be support and just educate you on various things that we do. Well, especially Bernardo tonight, but we're not being held liable for anything that you hear. I just wanted to make sure that disclaimer was out there. You're listening at your own discretion. Well, tonight we have an important guest, and his name is Bernardo Diaz, and I'm so excited to have him. He is from the UC system, University of California system of San Francisco. I'm gonna let him explain everything. I am a UC fan of San Diego, but now because of our daughter, so I'm very familiar with the system, and I just thank you for taking this opportunity to come on and for sharing. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
No, you're welcome. Happy to be here and chat with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's what it's all about, just giving people information that they may not know. And so before we begin into everything that you do at UCSF, I would like to know if you could just tell the audience a little bit about Bernardo. Like, who are you? How do you describe yourself?
Yeah. Well, my name is Bernardo Diaz. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I am the program manager for the UCSF Patient and Family Cancer Support Center. But
Mhm.
that's me at work.
Yeah.
I am within my family. I have a nickname of Eche.
Okay.
People call me Eche. Even when I came to the States, people were having issues getting what I was saying. So I was
Mhm.
AJ. So my American nickname is AJ.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Lima, Peru. And I came to
Oh,
the States December 13 of 2007 when I was 17 years old.
wow.
And yeah, and I've been here since then.
Wow. So 2007. Wow. That's not that long ago, actually. Well, I mean, okay, yeah, it is. But see, I'm born long, long time ago. So
Yeah, yeah.
sort of like, oh, that's not that long ago. So okay, so you're from Peru. And
Yes.
I don't know, share a little bit, if you don't mind, like about your culture, like something that you may want people to know about you and your culture. I think I'm always fascinated by people's culture. I think
Mm.
it's very, very important as far as representation.
Yeah, my culture. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is of probably the cuisine, Peruvian cuisine, food.
Oh, yeah.
Um, it's there's a lot of dishes that I don't want to, confuse people and overwhelm folks. But there's a lot of foods that I miss, especially like recipes and things that my grandma, my
Oh,
grandpa or mom used to cook when I was
right.
kind of like when I was growing up till I was 17. They still cook for me every time I see them. But yeah, there's Peru. If for the audience, some of them may not know, is located down in South America.
Mhm.
Um, and the capital of Peru is Lima. And you may know one of the seven wonders is Machu Picchu, which is located inland in
Mhm.
Peru in a state called Cusco City. And you kind of like you take a train to get into the
Oh, wow.
Machu Picchu. But yeah, culture is full of um, colors, I'll say.
Mm.
A lot of folklore music, dances, and just Peruvian culture is just so warm and hospitable. It's so like welcoming.
Oh,
So
good.
that's mhm.
Yeah. No, I like that because we kind of discussed a little bit about, even with everything that you're that's going on with UCSF in this particular department, just making sure culture, not just of our races, but all across the board being respectful. But yeah, so thank you for sharing that about yourself and about your culture. So you get here and then you went to school and because you came straight to California, correct? Or did you go to
Yeah.
the other state before?
No. I came straight to California. I had some distant relatives that were living here
Okay.
in the Bay Area, and I stayed with them for a bit. But yeah, it was I came here to straight up. I mean, the whole plan was for for me to go to college, right?
Okay.
And kind of like, go through the American kind of like these education steps. I came here to learn English first.
Oh,
When I arrived to the States, I was in this like English as a second language institution and a school, and that was kind of like the first step to go to a community college.
okay.
So I was there for 2 months actually, till because my English was way, it was really advanced. But oh
Hmm.
yeah, no, you kind of like just take the TOEFL. TOEFL is kind of like it's a test of English as a second language, and you pass it, and then you could, as an international student,
Oh,
you could actually just go to school, right? Go to any college or university here. So yeah, I mean that was I went to a community college. I stayed there for usually, you're supposed to be there for 2 years, but I ended up staying probably 3 to 4 years.
okay.
Um, and yeah, I took my time, and then I went uh to undergrad school. Like, and there's um my university is called
Mhm.
California State University of East Bay, of the East Bay.
Okay.
There's a lot of campuses, and I went there to just get my bachelor's degree in something related to health. So I
Mm,
got it with I got my undergrad in healthcare administration, and
okay.
yeah, and then I got a job um, at UCSF, and I was kind of having two jobs here at UCSF and another local hospital called John Muir Health, John Muir
Okay.
Medical Center. So I was working at John Muir in the weekends, but mostly working at UCSF through the Mondays through Fridays. And yeah, and I was really working a lot until I couldn't no more, because I was a little burned out, and I needed
Right.
money. And um, but yeah, but then I, left John Muir, kind of like got my weekends back, like as a normal human being. But yeah, but so yeah, my journey, kind of like a UCSF. I've been with UCSF since the spring of 2015,
Okay.
and yeah, and my role kind of like develops through there.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha. So before we get into your role, um, what do you have a link actually to cancer? Like, have you, I mean, because this is a very specific job description that you have,
yeah.
dealing with cancer patients. So I was just curious, is there anything that you could share or want to share about an experience that you've had either with yourself or someone in your family who's had cancer?
Yeah. No, look, cancer um is really close to my family, and it's when I was a kid, growing up in Lima, my grandpa had cancer, and
Mm,
he passed away a long time ago. But that was kind of like my first exposure to the disease and to cancer, and didn't really knew a lot about it back in the day, because I might have had 12 or 13 years old.
okay.
Um, but yeah, but it was just, how like you associate cancer with just how scary it is. Oh, people
Mm-hmm.
like it's but yeah, but then like but in 2018, not that while ago, my sister was diagnosed with breast cancer. And that kind of like was really tough, tough for me, my family, especially me and my brother. We are here in the States, and being caregivers, a long distance caregivers, that was really tough to digest.
Right.
Um, my sister is now is well in remission, and having her checkups and follow-ups yearly now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she's in remission, living her life.
Wow.
But yeah, that's the two kind of like, yeah, personal kind of cancer stories that I have. Yeah.
Wow. And so your sister, is she in Peru
She
or
is, yes,
okay.
she
So I
is
heard
in
you say
Lima.
long distance caregiving. So
It,
that kind of caught my attention.
yeah, no, it's, yeah, she's in Lima in Peru. She went through her whole like diagnosis,
Mhm.
surgery, treatments, and survivorship, all in Lima, in Peru. And yeah, it's being a caregiver, it's being with her, caregivers is such a complex role. And to
Right.
me, it was like, man, I wish I couldn't go there.
Mhm.
But because I was working here, and
Right.
there was no such a remote working back in 2018.
Oh,
And
no.
um and I really wanted to kind of like go there, and just because my sister's husband was her main caregiver and my parents.
Okay.
And but yeah, there was a part of me that really wanted to like be there and like help out with taking her to treatment, or
Right.
taking care of dinner tonight, like getting the
Mhm.
kids from high school and all that. So yeah, it was really all I could do was FaceTime her, right? And
Mhm.
checking with my parents on like how's she doing.
Mm.
And that was like a daily thing of mine until like everything kind of like started going back to normal. So yeah.
So she was fairly young when she was diagnosed?
I'll say she was probably in her early 40s. Yeah,
Okay. So yeah, compared to I think it's like 51 or older is usually
yeah,
when it's like, oh, well, you may have, but usually I think 51 and younger is
yeah.
sort of like the area where sort of like, oh, that everybody's kind of wondering like, why does this person have cancer at such a
Mhm.
young age?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm glad you mentioned from a distance because a lot of people think caregiving is just right here, personable, right in their face every day. And sometimes we can't
Mhm.
given for whatever circumstances we can't be there physically. But like you stated, you can FaceTime, you can be there
Yeah.
every day to check on her. Now they have like Uber Eats and stuff. So it's like you can send
Yeah.
meals, if you're in the States, but it's
Yeah.
like other things that we can do. Was that some of I mean, I know you stated that you did, do like FaceTime and things like that. Was there other things that you could suggest to people who are caregiving from a distance?
Um, Definitely checking with your close one, even though if it's a friend of yours, um, just always kind of like checking on them, but not like to a point of overwhelming and really weird. It's just a matter of like giving them space, but navigating through that, giving them space, but still making sure that they know that they could reach out to you. And I,
Right.
there were, and there's a lot of articles out there, and you could Google,
Yeah.
proper ways on how to talk to cancer patients. And there's all of this difference between sympathy and empathy, right?
Yes.
And the like, oh, you're talking to a friend who was recently diagnosed or going through treatment, and then mentioning, oh well, at least it's not this, right? No, it's more of
Yeah.
like meeting them where they are right there, and I hear you,
Right.
our support. So definitely, yeah, for all our Scars Peak audience, definitely know, yeah, educate yourself on what to say, right? What
Hmm.
language to use.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I kind of did, giving her space, knowing exactly what to say. I'm here for you. There's a lot of I'm here for you. Um, Let me know if you want to chat. Um,
Hmm.
and all of that. But and also like, technology, even though she was in Lima, I wasn't, of course, like picking her up or like
Right.
taking her here and there. But in Lima, there's Uber, and
Uh-huh.
there's kind of like versions of Uber Eats and DoorDash.
Uh-huh.
And I could easily download the actual app and so, it
Right.
was kind of my presence is still there, even though I'm 6,000 miles away from it, right?
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, so all of that, it is possible to have a presence with
Mhm.
a distance, right? We have having someone far away from you. So yeah.
I
Mhm.
love that. Yeah, I wanted to because I remember we had talked about it and I was like, oh yeah, hopefully he'll share
Mhm.
about his experience because a lot of people think, oh, I'm just not there, so I can't help. But it's like, no, you still can. There's so many other ways.
Yeah.
So if you could just kind of maybe tell us like how did you get started with UCSF? Far as you stated that your position kind of evolved
Yeah.
over time, and how did that process maneuver? Were you already in a department related to cancer, or did it just kind of an open door came and you went?
No, it was really, I usually share this to a lot of folks that I connect through LinkedIn, or people that really want to like, hey, what's your story? And I said, like,
Right.
my journey here at UCSF, I needed a job. And there's like these entry level positions, and the neurosurgery. So my whole my story here at UCSF started at the neurosurgery department.
Oh.
And but it's not like I do remember applying, but as I said, I needed a job, so I really like studied the department. I was hired as a front desk coordinator,
Mhm.
checking patients in and out, making sure that co-pays, printing their after visit summaries, making sure
Right.
that they're checked, all of that, right? So yeah, my journey started there at the neurosurgery department, and I spent there as front desk staff for a year. But the neurosurgery department works really close with the neuro-oncology department as well. And
Right.
we were sharing the same lobby, the same check-in process, right? So that was my first um, kind of like exposure to the cancer center here.
Okay.
So I became really close with the staff that was working there at the neuro-oncology department, nurses,
Hmm.
even neuro-oncologists as well. Kind of like being there, talking to them, and updating them with their patients and all that. So there was this opportunity to work um, assisting one doctor
Hmm.
specifically. As the role is a practice coordinator, but your role is to get your doctor has a pool of cancer patients
Hmm.
that they see, and I was in charge of scheduling appointments, new patient appointments, scheduling MRIs,
Right.
CT scan, all of that good stuff, and making sure that, when the clinic day come for your doctor, make sure that everything's, all the images is in the system, make sure that
Hmm.
all of that. So yeah, I did that, and that was kind of, I did that for a little bit more than 3 years,
Okay.
2 years and a half, 3 years, yes. And yeah, and gain a lot of experience, because I was working not only with in the outpatient clinic, but
Hmm.
I was really close with the neuro-oncology department, had a caregiver program.
Okay.
It's really, they were really taking care of the whole spectrum of brain tumor, making sure
Wow.
that patients and caregivers were well taken care of. And along with that, I was also really close to the social worker assigned to the neuro-oncology clinic. And yeah, that kind of like connected me with the role that I kind of like transition here. Um I then I was offered a position to work with all the oncology social workers in the cancer
Oh.
center. So I was like,
Right.
this is kind of like, this is definitely not challenge, but really like really nice way to connect to all cancer clinics. Because
Right.
I was really, I loved working with neuro patients, but there was a part of me that, well, there's a lot of cancer types and cancer patients that
Hmm.
would like to kind of like be involved and help. So I worked with the social work team for quite some time, doing admin stuff. Um, Scheduling transportation, scheduling lodging for some patients, and some logistics around their appointments. And yeah, and working with the social work team, I came to uh, meet the team, this patient and family cancer support center. It was a small team, but I didn't know about their existence, even though I was working with the in the cancer center for a while.
Right.
I really, really didn't really know much about them. But well, 2020 came, pandemic hit all of us, and I went to grad school. I started to, okay, let's go to grad school. So I actually stay at UCSF. UCSF had this hybrid 1-year program of healthcare administration and interprofessional leadership. And I took advantage of the time that I we were all working remote,
Right.
and I just and I yeah and the program was so fast, so it was such a uh, I don't know, productive. It was really empowering for me, being in that program. And and I finished, I graduated from grad school, and there was a position open here at the Patient and Family Cancer Support Center as the program development manager. And I applied, and I've been in this role since late 2021. Yeah,
Okay.
so you just hit me. I'm probably close to what, 3 years now, a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's a lot of talking, but yeah, that's the
No, that's great.
yeah. Feel free to like look at my LinkedIn profile and go through the to follow the
Yeah.
resume. But yeah, that's
That
so
is so great. And I guess for you, when you seen that position and after working, with neurology and then the oncology neurologist and all of them, just
mhm.
and then not just that, but your own personal story. Do you think that looking back, hindsight 2020, do you think that also with what happened to your sister and to your other family member, do you think that kind of also had some impact on you taking on this position? Or was it just because of all the information you had learned?
Oh, that is um I well, such a good question. My I take my sister being a caregiver, kind of like everything came to like I don't know. Everything made sense at the end. Let's put
Yeah.
it that way. Because destiny, the my my life and the route of where my life was taking me was like, oh, Bernardo, put yourself with the Cancer Support Center at UCSF and work with all patients,
Right.
caregivers, and staff,
Mhm.
and help them provide. You are your team are the center are we're stewards, we're gatekeepers of such a lot of resources, information, and support for all. So everything kind of like the cycle kind of made a lot of sense. Looking
Yeah.
outside the bubble, it kind of like, wow, okay, so all of these things, right? All of the things that I experienced to end up here, that kind of like made a lot of sense. And I still have a lot of ideas and visions. But this is definitely a great space to start. 100%.
Yeah, because it just seems like, okay, you had to go through all of that, and then now all of a sudden you get linked up with this specific department
Yeah.
that you had no idea about, and it's small,
Hmm.
and you're able now to also, impact people from even the place of your own experience. So
Yeah.
that's what I seen when you were talking. I'm like, wow, this is like full circle for you.
Hmm.
Like you
It's full
came back
circle.
to a place that you're familiar with to help people. So it's not just, oh, I'm doing this because I got a degree in health
Yeah.
administration and I just need a job. You
Yeah.
actually had an encounter with being a caregiver, so you can
Hmm.
relate better.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impactful.
Hmm.
So given this position, so what exactly does, before we get into like the overall program, what exactly does your title involve? Like, what are your duties? What are you there to do in that
Definitely,
particular position?
it's
The job.
definitely more. Yeah. So the Patient and Family Cancer Support Center, um, supports, I'll say, wellness and healing
Mhm.
for patients and caregivers. And when I joined the team, I really wanted to focus on, but we should also focus on cancer center staff, you know,
Right,
admin staff, doctors, even, you
right.
know, making sure that everyone has the information the emotional support, and just know what community resources are out there.
Hmm.
The UCSF has a, a lot of cancer clinics, let's put it this way, a lot more than 20, I believe.
Wow.
And and there's a lot of cancer types within every cancer clinic. And yeah, we're trying to kind of like diversify, making sure that like there's support groups for patients, even though if their cancer is rare.
Hmm.
We do the research and try to find support groups from other places as well.
Okay.
But yeah, but all our services are open to all cancer patients, regardless of where they receive their care. Uh,
Mm.
that was although there like there's some particular kind of nutrition and exercise counseling that we offer for UCSF patients, but outside of that, our support groups, our peer support program, and yeah, they're open to all patients.
Oh, okay. So they're open to all patients. And what about their family members? Are
100%.
they
Yeah,
they're open to? Okay.
yeah. There's a lot of we do even our support groups. Not only do we have many, but we do have a couple for family and friends and husbands and weekend others, and yeah, specifically for them as well. And so yeah, it's also like there for all. Yeah.
Okay. And this particular department
Yeah.
program, is it specifically for UCSF patients, or have y'all branched out and open it up to like anybody? Or is
Hmm.
it just specific?
Mm, it's really open to everybody. There's a lot of specifically, when it comes to um, let me kind of like paraphrase this. We
Sure.
do have a lot of support groups that are open to a lot of to any non-UCSF patients as well. But we do have this beautiful program called peer support program.
Mm,
And myself and my colleague Margaret, we are matchmakers. Let's put it that way. We
okay.
match patients with someone that has gone through the same journey and want to chat specifically about something. And we recruit peer support volunteers from everywhere, to be honest. Yeah, you could
Really?
be a patient at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and if you want to become a volunteer, yeah, you could submit, contact us, and we will train you how to be a peer support volunteer, and you'll be in our volunteer pool. And same with patients, if they kind of want to be matched with
Mhm.
someone, and yeah, they could fill out a small questionnaire, and then we'll get it notified from our end, and we will try to find a match. And that's
Okay.
the beauty of this, because it's kind of like, if I cannot find a match for you, that was the icebreaker I needed, right?
Right,
Because
right.
I not only will I chat with you, I'll follow up with emails, I'll share all that I could find, um, and yeah, and just start a connection, right? Because it's all about connecting.
Wow. Okay, because I was thinking, well, maybe it's just for UCSF. And then we
Uh,
start talking. I was like, oh, this sounds like it's kind of open up to, everyone.
mhm,
Because I don't want people to hear like, oh, California and be like, oh, I can't even participate or whatever.
mhm,
But we have so many virtual things now. So
yeah.
that's really good.
Mhm.
So is there anything specific that you want to share about the program as a whole? I know you stated that there's different support groups and things of that nature, but was there anything you really want to shed light on tonight with everyone?
Hmm. I know your audience, it's I don't know if the majority of your audience are patients or caregivers or even staff.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, something to kind of like highlight is to um there, even if your cancer center that you work at or that you're seen at don't have a cancer support center like we do, but believe me, there are nurses, there might be social worker, case managers who work together, and you don't know, they actually, without them realizing, they built a cancer support center.
Right.
And they do our connectors, they will, talking on behalf of them, but I'm pretty sure that they are also kind of like, they'll connect you with the right resources, the right, like, oh yeah, I heard about other patients that are going to this support group or this and this. So yeah, I mean, I'll say, oh, don't be afraid of just asking for that extra support. I know that
Right.
you as a patient, as a caregiver, you might be well taken care of, like with surgery, getting the right treatment and all that. But when it comes to emotional support and
Mhm.
information and the right, don't be afraid to just ask. I mean, you feel free to do your own research and go open Google and do it, this, but believe me, there's like, don't be afraid of asking, going out of that comfort zone, because I know that it's tough to even, hey, I may need additional support.
Right.
So yeah, I'll say 100% don't be afraid. The people are ready to help. So just
And
that's mine.
no, that's great. So your department, so say for instance, I'm in Virginia and I'm having a ton of questions, or maybe you just need some linking or whatever, and
Mhm.
I give you a call or send a message or whatever.
Yeah.
So could your program link me to maybe resources that I don't even know about in my area, or would you kind of like direct me? How does that work?
Well, yeah, I mean, I will try our best. I
Okay.
do, like, no, no, believe me, I gotten a lot of calls from you know, there's a lot of cases, patients who want to either get a second opinion from UCSF or want to see if, like, how to if you have this and this and this, and I do remember even like um really, like, because I connect a lot with caregivers and patients over the phone. And even
Right.
though if this patient is in South Carolina, right, and trying to
Mhm.
get um, what's available for them, even though they're out of state, um, I do go out of the box. I do go the extra mile, and even, okay, just let me know which city in South Carolina you're calling from, and which,
Wow.
and then it's so easy to just like open and go to Google and just like ask, just like cancer support in this area and this area. And since I, go through a lot of websites and a lot of things, I actually just do the research for the patient. Look, I found this, which is 7 miles away from you,
Mhm.
and I see that they're open this, they offer this, and so yeah, I try my best to
No,
be.
that's good
Uh-huh.
because I mean, I've had some individuals who contacted me and I was like, okay, not in your area, but I did see that
Yeah.
this support group is in your area. But a lot of people, like you stated, don't even realize that sometimes within their cancer team, there's a social worker.
Mhm.
They some people just don't. They see because they see the doctor and they're going back and forth to the doctor and everything. And the mental part is kind of like, okay, it's there, but they don't even know that they have that resource. So
No.
a lot of times I tell them to talk to the nurse navigator and see if they have a social worker on standby.
Yeah, and yeah, and there's a lot of you know, patients may connect social workers with, oh, therapy, counseling,
Right.
but of course, they're trained to give you, guide you through emotional support. They will connect you with a psychologist if it needs to. But there's a lot of, like, our social workers here, and I bet a lot of social workers out there, they help patients filling out disability forms,
Yep.
connecting you with state, um, whichever state you are.
Right.
They know what could the state could give to you as a cancer patient, your
Right.
right as a cancer patient. Um, so yeah, all of that. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
never.
they're huge advocates in whatever arena they work in, whether it's cancer or juvenile detention center, it doesn't matter. Like they are
Yeah.
just a plethora of resources that they have.
Mhm.
Always, always have a plethora of resources.
Mhm.
So I did see something about art, I think, on
Yeah.
your social media. Do you all do like art therapy? I want to say
Yeah,
it's something.
yeah, no, it's our cancer center. We do have it's a small group of two staff and volunteers, but it's called our Art for Recovery.
Oh,
And
okay.
we work along with them a lot, since there's a lot of projects that we do that end up, but to the point, it's yeah, Art for Recovery helps patients, caregivers, and staff
Hmm.
express um, what cancer means for them in different forms of art.
Right.
If you you know, if you want to write, you're gonna write. You know, you don't have to be a writer. If you paint, you want to paint, go ahead. If you want to play an instrument, play it. That's art.
Yep.
But ways to express what in the journey that you are in the cancer spectrum, whatever, however you want to express it through art. You know, that's the art for recovery. And there's a lot of open studios, and patients and caregivers and staff just join, and they just like, okay, I wanna paint my little board in black. Okay,
Uh-huh.
today is black. Okay, tomorrow will be yellow. Tomorrow, you know, you
Yeah.
got stars in your, in your black background. But yeah, there's way. You know, we do have a lot of volunteers who also go inpatient, and primarily at the blood and marrow transplant, inpatient and floors, and they go um, to patients that, you know, they kind of knowing, oh, we don't show up just out of the blue. We kind of like
Right.
check with the nurses and the patient. Yeah, sure, they could come next Tuesday, this and this, and we kind of like go with they go with kids, you know, with just like small things that they could actually do art right there on the on
Nice.
their beds. But yeah, that's the art for recovery, and hopefully, you know, like there's a lot of you know, working with cancer patients and
Mhm.
connecting them with art. The product is so powerful,
Right.
so powerful, and and yeah, I look. There's a lot of exhibitions and art displays through the hospital of uh,
Okay.
of um you know, of all the like the creativity and the end product of a lot of like just art projects that they have done with patients. So it's powerful.
Nice. Yeah, I was wondering, I was like, I kept seeing it and I was like, I wonder if they have like, I didn't know the full detail of everything. Now, is that virtual or just in person?
Well, definitely in person, and I know that there's ways on you know, they could mail you some like things to do at home even.
Oh,
But
nice.
yeah, or just even if, or even finding, connecting you with like on how to do this, or like going through you and step by step and looking at this YouTube video on how to do this.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
wondering because I know something I had gone to one time before. It was an art therapy, and because I did a lot of art therapy when I was going through recovery. Also, it helped with my range of motion
Mhm.
with my arms after surgery. And they had like virtual art. Like I was in the class with other people that were in face to face. So I didn't know if that was set up that way
Mhm.
or if it was just in person. But thank you for sharing that because that way people can at least contact you if they want to do a little bit of art therapy.
Mhm.
And then I think, I'm not for sure. If I'm wrong, let me know. But do you have something, I think, for the LGBTQIA plus um
Yeah, I mean,
community?
we do in collaboration with Sutter Health. You know,
Okay.
Sutter Open. They do have an LGBTQI plus cancer support group, and
Okay.
it was kind of like and we kind of call up. You know, we recruit patients to be in their support groups, and it's their support group. But yeah,
Mhm.
it was crucial for, and it's a brand new. Um, it's not. It's a support group that we've been wanting to have here for a long time. We do have other support groups for queer community. We do have a prostate cancer for gay men or
Mhm.
already established, but we really wanted to make sure that there's a space um, for the queer cancer patients to have a space,
Mhm.
to for them to talk. I know there's a lot of you know, this whole the need to collab with Sutter was you know, I had a lot of patients who were, you know, who came and chat with me about like you know, just a small kind of like, oh, my provider, the staff, you know, didn't use the right pronouns, or you know, I see my in the clinic notes that the doctor put he instead of she, or like, you know, and there's a lot of things, right? And there's,
Mhm.
look, I you need a space, you know, you need space to talk to, you know, and so yeah, that was the whole kind of idea, and wish we could have done it sooner, and we're really, from now on, we're just gonna expand and and do better.
No, that's a good point. The reason why I mentioned it, because I thought we had talked about it briefly
Mhm.
before. And the reason why I wanted to make for sure is because I was very bothered when I had gone to, it was a support group, and it was with the LGBTQIA plus community. And I was so upset because, like, for instance, if there was a woman transgender man, excuse me, and say for instance, if they're either way it go, whether it's a man or a woman, but it was sort of like the doctors, the issue that came up was, in this particular case, the individual had cancer, breast cancer, but because they had gone through surgery, they didn't even think to kind of like talk about their hormones. It was sort of like, you know what, you're good. You don't have to come back for this, that, and a third. And it was like, yeah, you still need to, because they just weren't given instruction
Yeah.
far as the different appointments and things that they still needed to continue to go to. It was just sort of like, okay, goodbye. And I just found that very disheartening. And it was just a whole bunch of different scenarios that I was told in this particular meeting. And it just broke my heart because I'm like, no, you gotta have to advocate for yourself, especially if you have a family history with, genes and everything else. There's still certain tests that you need to get done. And they were not opposing it. It was just they were not offered. And so when you had mentioned about the program, I was like, oh, hopefully he'll say something about it tonight, because people really need to know that there is support out there so
Yeah.
their voice can be heard.
Yeah. It is such a, you know, it's, um, we, I talk to a lot of, um, transgender cancer patients who are diagnosed with a cancer type that that is kind of like that is marked to the gender that
Hmm.
they're not longer, and
Right.
just have kind of like and yeah, and it's such a complex thing, and
Right.
also like so yeah, we it's really like a fluid, and there's a lot of like new screening options and ways
Hmm.
to talk and steps on how to address uh, any like questions that any transgender cancer patient has. So yeah, we're working on like really making sure they have the space and they feel comfortable.
Right. Thank you for that. That's so needed because it just bothered me so bad.
Yeah.
I was just like, no, don't do that to them. So I guess that is there anything else that you want to share about the organization or anything that's coming up? Um, yeah, this
Hmm.
is your space. So is there anything else that you wanted to share?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, for all, feel free to, I have a couple of volunteers who manage our Instagram account.
Yes.
So if you, for your audience, if you want to follow UCSF, that Cancer Support Center, feel free, because not only do we share, a lot of guides and things for our cancer patients, but the majority of things we share for all to read.
Right.
We share, we comment with things that are like and this I think, and that's Christina, that's how we even got connected.
Yep, because they were posting and
Yeah,
they caught my attention. I think actually they found me and then I started following
yeah,
you all.
yeah.
And
So
I was
they,
like, wow, this is really good. Y'all are very active and they're very supportive. Your
yeah,
whole
no, yeah, it's all
staff is
about
very
creating a
supportive.
community. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thank them so much because I'm like, can you come on? They're like, let's connect you. So no,
Yeah.
they're very attentive to the platform,
Hmm.
very attentive and supportive.
Hmm.
So I read your stuff all the time. All well,
Oh,
their stuff,
thank you.
whoever puts it up, but they're doing a great
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, yeah, they're doing great.
Yeah. Is there okay? So you gave the Instagram. Is there an email or anything where if people want to get in contact directly to your
Yeah,
staff?
yeah, people could if you want to learn more, yeah, you could email us at cancersupportcenter@ucsf.edu. Cancer
Okay.
Support Center at UCSF.edu. Yeah.
And website, because I know you have
Ooh, it's our website is kind of like within the
UCS.
cancer. So it's I
Okay.
don't want to, yeah, it's cancer.ucsf.edu/support. And
Okay.
maybe kind of like you'll see, you won't miss it. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I think I can just put UCSF and then the patient and
And
family
family
support,
cancer
cancer
support center.
support.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
it pops right up.
Yep.
So without further ado, now we're to the part of your song, the song that you
Yeah.
had with your reel. If you could tell the name of it, who's the artist, and why did you choose that particular song?
Yeah, well, it's a Spanish song well, from Peruvian singer Pedro Suárez Pertis, who passed away not that while ago.
Oh,
And the
wow.
name of the song is Cuando pienses en volver, which means when you think of going back.
Mm,
But the song kind of like when you think of going back home. That kind of like what he's intended to. That music was the song was he wrote it for all the Peruvian community who lives outside of Peru in in different countries. So just like having this sublime message of like we are here for you. This is your home. Just keep doing what you're doing. So
wow,
that,
love it.
and every time I hear that song, I kind of like tear up a bit.
Yeah,
And yeah, it just mentions like don't remember what your mom said to you when you were a kid, this and this, and in different ways, of course. But yeah, every time I listen to it on my commute back home or coming to work or just anywhere, that song kind of like resonates a lot on I'm an immigrant in this country and and I don't know, and I doing the hard work of working with cancer patients
yeah,
and and yeah, that kind of like makes me proud of my roots
yeah.
and gives me more power to I don't know, to keep doing the work that I'm
That's beautiful. Okay, so what is your one word or words? Some people do a little phrase, but
doing.
what is your one word that you can live with the audience? Someone may, have open wounds that they're just freshly open wounds and they're just having a hard time getting through, or they may have scars that are old, whether they're mental or physical, that they're trying to get through. What's a word that you can share with people that it may mean something to you that you think of when you're going through something, but what's your word and why do you choose that one?
Yeah, my words definitely like more on the and it's the words empowerment.
Mm,
um I kind of like use that as that word a lot with this with the with what we offer here in the patient and family cancer support center at UCSF, empowering patients
mm,
and empowering caregivers and empowering staff, our staff,
right.
just making sure that they know that we are all in this work as a team, and
Mm,
making sure that the resources that we share and the community and the talks we have and the laughs we share and the tears we cry, that all empowers us to unifies us. So empowerment is definitely the right word for me. Empowering you on whatever you are on this journey, just empowerment. Be because you could come up with a lot of words after empowerment, right? And
yeah,
there's a lot of synonyms as well. So yeah, empowerment.
I love it. Okay, so I'm sitting here and I'm like listening to everything that you've said, and I definitely want to leave you with something. Hopefully, it'll encourage you. But when I sat here and listened to you, first, we've had a meeting already. So that was very informative. And then tonight, it's like I just keep seeing when I hear you talk is like an encourager and just very inspirational. And it goes from even you coming to America, that whole experience, which I'm sure there's a full story behind everything. That's even longer than what you shared tonight.
Mhm.
But just for you to be here in a country that you don't know and actually getting to this particular position to inspire other people. And you did it the whole way through. Like you didn't just say, oh, I'm not going to inspire anybody because I'm doing this particular work or because I'm at school. You've done
Mhm.
it the whole way through.
Mhm.
And you not only empowered and inspired other people, but you've encouraged people as you went through in your family.
Mhm.
And that's a beautiful thing because sometimes people forget about their family and they could be right next door to them. And you kept on really making sure your family was good. You have not lost your culture. That's so important. That's so important because as a African American woman who doesn't know her lineage, that is it's sad because we lost a lot of our culture coming over here. But we try to regain it, some information of it, but truly knowing like what tribe my people were from and all, I don't know any of that. I don't know anything about Africa. So, to a degree, I mean, no more than what school textbooks teach us and everything.
Mhm.
But knowing that you've come here and you haven't lost that, that's important. That is so significant. And you're sharing that information on top of actually impacting your staff, which I loved when you said that, as well as the patients and the caregivers. So I hope you will continue to encourage people, because as you're encouraging people, you are empowering us
Mhm.
to look and self-reflect on what
Mhm.
we're doing and how we can impact other people. So thank you for that.
Oh, nicely said.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christina. No, thank you. Thank you for the space. Thank you for the
Yeah,
connection. Let's 100% let's keep in touch.
absolutely.
I would love to kind of like have an interview, and I hope this is not the last time.
No,
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 100%. Yeah.
not at all. And if you have some staff you want to come up here, feel free.
Yeah, I will do.
Absolutely. They've been great. Okay, well, if you have nothing else, this is the end of another episode of Our Scars Speak. And we thank each and every one of you for listening and for joining us. And remember that your mental and your physical scars speak a story that can help heal the wounds of another. So until next time, we love you and we see you later. Bye.
Bye.